Beautiful people, friends, we are about to go deep. I have an incredible guest coming on called Dennis Richards. He's an Ascension coach. He's a great friend, an amazing hypnotherapist, and he's been playing this game for like 30 years, since the 1990s. And he is going to come on and start talking about how we can step into our purpose and our calling and live it, how we can be brave enough to overcome that fear, how we can really live the most aligned and beautiful life. If that sounds exciting, you're going to absolutely love it. Dennis is a master at helping people overcome fears and phobias, and we talk deep. And if you like that, if you're like me, if you love having those real deep soulful chats, I think you're going to absolutely love it today. So I'm going to invite Dennis onto the live and let's get into it. What questions do you have for an Ascension coach? What would you love to ask? Maybe just take a breath into the belly and out. Just really feel into, where are you on your Ascension journey right now? How fully are you living your purpose? And just be really real with yourself, maybe on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is you are full out, aligned, living your purpose, being brave, being courageous, doing those scary things that you know are going to transform yourself and the world and that bring you joy. And 1 is you're totally playing small, absolutely petrified. Where would you be? Scale of 1 to 10. Once we know where we are, then we start to be able to play with, okay, well, what would get me up? So if you're a 6, what would get you to a 7? You could just ask that question. Maybe you write down the answer. Maybe you play with it in your mind, in your consciousness. What would be one thing that could get you one more level up? If you're already a 10, what would get you to an 11? What's the even most and more amazing vision for yourself in your life and your business? What is your calling? Let me know. I'd love to hear. Mine has evolved many, many times, and it's all centered around the same thing for me. It's about raising the consciousness of all our brothers and sisters on the planet. And one of the ways that I had to do that was by raising my own consciousness first. And I'm still doing that. It's a work in progress. There's always deeper layers. First, I had to start really changing the way that I ate and drank alcohol and junk food, and I had to cut out sugar and make sure my vessel was clean, our body, our vehicle, make sure it was clean. Once I did that, the next step was changing my circle, changing my friends, changing my environment, hanging around people who actually were living aligned lives, who were in abundance, who were joyful. That's probably one of the most important things. Think about the people you hang around with now, and this is one of the exercises that we do in our workshops. It's actually in my book as well. It's called the 33% rule. I learned it from Jarek Robbins, who's Tony Robbins' son. And he says, look at your circle, look at the people you hang around with. 33% of the people you hang around with should be at your level, your peers, similar kind of level, similar kind of journey. 33% should be mentors, playing at a higher level than you, people that inspire you, that you lift you up, that teach you things. And then 33% should be people who are not quite at your level yet. They're people that you teach. And if you do that, if you do all of those 3 things, you'll have an amazing. So maybe just out. It's a good exercise. Look at your circle. In your consciousness, or are you the most conscious person in the room? If you are, you might want to get in a different room. And talking about beautiful conscious people, welcome Dennis Richards.
Hello, Luke. Great to be here.
I've just been telling everybody how amazing you are, and one of the things, Dennis, that I absolutely love about you is you have been playing this game, this Ascension game, for a long time. So you've been a post recently. You've been doing this for 45 years now.
Yeah.
And That is absolutely epic. So I'm currently 35 human years old. So even before I was born, you were playing this game, and I absolutely love to be in rooms with people like yourself because you can teach us things from not just a headspace where you've read it in a book, but from an embodied space. So we're looking forward to going deep today. I've told everybody about your Ascension coaching. Dennis actually has a webinar he's running tomorrow. I'll post the link in the chat for you, all about how you can tap into your purpose, all about Ascension. I'll drop that link for you here. And Dennis, I guess for anyone who doesn't know you, do you want to tell us just a little bit about your background and being an Ascension coach? What would you love to share?
Yeah, well, it took me a long time to live my purpose. I'm 67 years old, and I can say right now I'm living what I'm meant to be doing. So it's been an incremental process of finding out, what draws me, what inspires me. I remember as a kid, I used to read books on astral travel. I was probably about 10 years old. Astral travel and telekinesis, and when other kids were reading, and there was something there drawing me, and to want to know the answer to deeper questions. And as I grew older, I got into a state of depression in my teens, and which lasted quite a long time in my life, in fact, most of my life. And so there was another quest. How do I find my way out of this depression that keeps dogging me? So there was the spiritual quest and the psychological quest. And I worked with a lot of therapists. I had a corporate job. Well, I was in civil service. I did that for 11 years. And eventually my soul wouldn't take it any longer. And I resigned my job and I went to California. Spent a year and a half studying something called creation spirituality, which was really where I needed to be then. It was a fantastic program. Matthew Fox, a Dominican friar, was leading the program. He had on his faculty a witch, a Sufi, a Christian activist, a Yoruba priestess, and I was exposed to all these different spiritualities, and yeah, just really loving it. And then the end of that program, I thought, my God, what do I do now? I've finished the program. So I started another qualification in counseling psychology. Wasn't quite what I hoped it would be. It was at the California Institute of Integral Studies, supposed to be very progressive, influenced by Aurobindo, the Indian mystic, and it wasn't really what it lived up to be. It was very psychoanalytic and very controlled, and I had to get out of that.
So let's just talk about that for a minute, Dennis, because I've had a similar experience. So I was in therapy for years, and it was very heady, and it didn't do what I needed it to do. And when I met my first quantum healing teacher, he was able to do in a couple of sessions what I had tried to do for years, and it was amazing. And so I said, "Yeah, teach me."
Yeah.
I know when we first started talking, you've done so many different modalities.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
For me, it has to work on the physical level, the mental level, the emotional level, and the energetic level. And conventional hypnotherapy was too mind-based for me. Reading from a script, it was no heart in it. It didn't quite reach the depths and clear things at the root. What's your experience? Because I know you're doing the curate modality and you're on the path to being a curate master. So you're stepping into your quantum healing skills.
Yeah.
For anyone who knows they're just scratching the surface of what's possible in their life, maybe it's fear holding them back. Maybe it's some limiting beliefs. If you just to give them from your decades of experience, what can they do other than come to your master class? Obviously, you're going to go deep into it tomorrow. Like what is a great step for them?
Well, part of the the process is to identify those limiting beliefs. So I would start by journaling and just writing down what's working in your life and what isn't. If something isn't working, that's a lesson for you. The universe is trying to teach you something. And when emotions come up, typically people feel they're not good enough, they're not worthy enough. Those are really red flags pointing to limiting beliefs about self-worth. So identifying them and confronting them, finding evidence that you are worthy, you are a valuable person. And of course, that you might reach a point then where you need some help, and don't be afraid to reach out for help. Help you going back to where those beliefs come from. They're usually set up within the first 7 years of life. They can either be beliefs you've imbibed in your childhood, or through beliefs you've arrived at yourself through events, particularly traumatic events. We remember them much more than the healthy and rewarding events.
Mm. Can we drop into a cosmic, bit more deeper and real energy for those people who, like you, Dennis, maybe they had depression, maybe they have been trying for decades, so maybe they have just been working in a job that's soul destroying, and they know that they have this deeper purpose. Like, what are you going to share with them tomorrow that will help them?
Well, I don't want to preempt what I'm going to put in in the masterclass, but yeah, I'll be sharing 4 life principles to help you raise your vibration, and I'll be sharing the 2 things that everybody really is looking for, whether you're aware of it or not, the things that we are drawn to. And those, there'll be lots of content. You'll be able to tell, start putting things into practice, and really, start to find out, where am I being drawn and how can I get there?
My experience is that a lot of people listen to podcasts, they try things like Reiki, maybe they go to some personal development events like Tony Robbins and stuff like that. And it's nice, isn't it? It's nice. You feel good, your energy's raised and you feel really motivated. But then you go back to your home and your job and your partner and your family, and it's like the wind gets knocked out of your sails. And this ascension path, it's a really special one. I know you have a really great gift of being able to channel wisdom from ascended masters and different teachers, and everybody has this gift, by the way. You can all do this too. What is the thing, Dennis, that can actually create the shifts for people in your experience after trying so many different things?
I think dropping down deep into your soul and finding your own wisdom. Once you've been to all the classes and the teachings and read all the books, you've still got to find what we call in Q your own GPS system that's guiding you. And we all have that inner guidance. So looking deep inside and finding, where am I being called? And what's going to make me get up in the morning, given that everything is so difficult? Sometimes, what's my inspiration today?
Do you think sometimes because we live in a world that's fundamentally, like, especially in our Western society, there's just so many things that are distressing. The foods we eat, the way the music is, the way the media is, the school system. I can go on and on and on. And people who say they're depressed, but they're not actually depressed. They're just living this life that's not aligned.
Yeah. Yeah.
So often it's just figuring out what do we need to click in place, and it's usually like a tweak. I love helping people with depression because they can even be suicidal sometimes. The clients that I get, it's a tweak. It's
Yeah.
something to let go of. There's something to stop doing, or there's something to start doing, or they just need a bit of courage, and that's where coaches come in, right? Because we can either hold your hand and help you, or we can lovingly guide you, or we can literally drag you up, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
If you need.
Talking about courage, David Hawkins, who created this map of consciousness, he said the point at which negative emotions start to be positive is with courage. If you can find courage, you can then get on that ladder that goes up towards joy and bliss. So courage is the starting point. What do you need to let go of? What do you need to commit to? Often it's the commitment that really shifts things for you, because you've made that energetic shift, and then things fall into place.
Yeah, the courage piece is really interesting, isn't it? Because it's infectious too. When I'm around courageous people, I'm more courageous. And like champion level athletes, you have to show up even when no one's watching. But it makes such a difference when you have cheerleaders, when you have tribe, when you have other people that are doing it too. That's been my experience anyway. Like when you work with your clients. So Dennis is a superhero, by the way. He's also pretty humble. So I guess I'll toot his horn. And so Dennis helps people in like 30 minutes overcome their biggest fears in their life. Let us know in the chat what your biggest fear is, and how can you do that in 30 minutes, Dennis? Because people might be scared their entire lives around it. Right? How do you do that? What's your secret? What's the magic?
Well, I'm using the curate process. Anyone can learn it. The process itself is not difficult if you follow it, and also use your own wisdom alongside it, because as you said about scripts, we're not following a script here. We're using our own consciousness, as well as the protocol. Going through this series of steps is just so powerful and can really get to the root of the problem, and without digging up and re-experiencing the trauma. We're not talking about doing that. We're talking about going to the root, digging up the root, and then everything else falls into place.
Do you know how many people I've helped with their fear of public speaking? It must be hundreds. And it's always just like one thing that happened. It's always one thing. It's something from their childhood, something from their school. Sometimes it gets a bit more quantum. It can be like something passed down in their ancestral line. Maybe someone was killed or punished for speaking out, right? Or for being they were ostracized for going against the government or whoever the rulers were at the time. And we just go in, clear that thing, and it's gone forever. And it's like, I absolutely love quantum therapy because it's like being a brain surgeon. You just go in and you just change the little bit that needs to be changed. And I know you're really good at that. I've had sessions with Dennis, by the way. He's helped me with some of my personal issues, and it was literally 30 minutes, and he just went straight in, cleared it out. And this is one of the cool things I like to talk about, and I want everyone to jump on your masterclass tomorrow as well. I've posted the link, everyone. Dennis is running a masterclass tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time, all about how you can live your purpose, Ascension. He's going to share all of those things you already talked about. Dennis, what do you feel the people listening right now need to hear? What can you share with them that will get them to come and actually transform their life? Because we need it, don't we? Is it not so called for right now for all these ascended masters, all these conscious people to be brave enough to actually like live their purpose instead of these numb lives, eating stuff that's not for them, drinking themselves into oblivion? Like, what can we say? How can we shake the people?
Right. Okay. What I think people really need to hear is that Ascension is not an ego trip. It is the highest form of service, that we are doing this not to be better than anyone else. We're not better than anyone else. We are on this path because it's our calling to serve the wider humanity and the planet. I have a vision. I don't know if you've seen the film with Gary Sinise, where they have psychics in a pool of water predicting who's going to be a criminal or not.
Yes.
In Minority Report,
Yeah.
that's the one. Well, my vision is to have a group of curate practitioners and other practitioners around the world creating the future, not predicting it, but creating it, because we create our own future. And collectively, as a species, we are creating the future of the planet. So that's my vision, changing the world.
Yeah. One of my visions, Dennis, and I think you are definitely a part of this, is I was told to create a platform where the people, in the vision, they were called the elders, where the elders could come forward and be the leaders, the wise ones. It's like being in a tribe. I love studying tribes. You know, the elders run the tribes, and we're a bit confused in our Western world. People retire when they're 65, but I think when you're 65, you're just kind of figuring things out.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, it's kind of different. It's the 85-year-olds and the 90-year-olds who run the companies. And they're not treated as some elderly OAP, you know, decrepit Alzheimer people. It's not like that. The elders are revered for the deep wisdom, for having lived their life and been around the block a few times. And I don't see that with our leaders right now. I'm thinking about the presidents of the countries that I know. I'm not going to name any names. I don't know a single president of any country that I'm currently aware of that I would actually submit to lead me. That I feel is taking us in a really pure, beautiful direction.
Mm-hmm.
How can people tap into their inner wisdom?
Well, I think a lot of it is releasing the trauma that keeps us disconnected from who we really are. So doing that shadow work, going into the darkness and shining our light on it, letting go of all those memories that keep dragging our vibration down. So releasing the shadow and embracing the light and really finding that wisdom within. It's there, and if you look for it.
It's so easy in hypnotherapy, isn't it, to take people into their subconscious mind, because it's a pure thing. They're in that brainwave state where they're able to just access this wisdom, and it's the easiest thing in the world. And I encourage everyone, book some sessions with Dennis, at least jump on his masterclass. You should be able to see the link. I've posted it in the comments as well. Dennis, can you please share about your event tomorrow and what people need to know so they can turn up and get the most out of it?
Okay, it starts at 7 o'clock, but you need to access the link a little early so you can register if you haven't registered in advance. So you need to allow time to register. It lasts an hour. I'm going to be talking about why I'm doing this work. I'm going to, as I say, look at the 2 things your soul needs, the 4 life principles in order to achieve those objectives, and some tools that can help you get there. I'll also be talking about a program. I'm going to start offering a 6-week program. So all the details of that will be in the masterclass tomorrow.
For anyone who already knows they want to work with you, I get that often. I just get this soul pull. I'm like, yes, this person has some wisdom. I want to come get in their world. Can you tell people a little bit about your coaching and how they can work with you?
Well, you can either work with me one-on-one, if you want to go really deep and get to the bottom of those issues, or there's a group program. I'm looking for 6 people who want to join a weekly group for 6 weeks. There's gonna be group calls. There'll be a workbook, an audio to listen to every day, and it's going to be a really high vibration group. So it's not just me. Everyone there will be raising the vibration. It's going to be awesome.
It's so good when you're in a group like that. I love it. That's one of my big life-changing things, being around people who actually are joyful, like being around people who love life, who are happy, who are aligned, because it rubs off. They say that you become the average of the people you spend the most time with, right? And a lot of people are spending time with people that just aren't really serving them. So Dennis, thank you so much. I will let you get back to transforming the world, whatever it is that you're doing, with every breath. Everyone who hasn't experienced quantum hypnotherapy yet, I'll just tell you, it is way easier to reprogram your subconscious mind than you think. To relax your nervous system, let go of anxiety, depression, fears, phobias. So easy. Like whatever it is that's holding you back doesn't have to take years. Just let Dennis or myself or another curate practitioner, just let us do it with you. It's super easy. You can even learn it if you want to. 2024, this year, we have a lot of world changing to do. There's some crazy systems in this world right now. We're going to build new ones. You might be a part of that. We're also going to dismantle the old ones. And the masters, the people who are on this ascension path, we are the leaders, we're the guides, we're the ones with the open hearts and the open minds. So if that is you, you're going to absolutely love Dennis's masterclass tomorrow. Dennis, I might put you on the spot a little bit here. We didn't talk about this, but if you were just to channel some wisdom for a few minutes now, just to kind of round off this interview, what wisdom would like to come through? And anyone who's receiving this, if you just want to get nice and comfortable, take a deep breath in. And over to you, Dennis.
Okay. A new year is starting. Why not dedicate this year to being who you really are, to doing what you really want to do, not settling for second best. You're worth so much more than that. You're worth spending the time, the money, whatever it takes to be that person you're called to be. Reach for the stars, my woodwork teacher used to say. Reach for perfection. Why settle for anything less? Times are changing very rapidly now, and we're all called to step up and be who we're meant to be. Let's go for it.
So there you go, everybody. Your call to action, step up. And for me, I used to try and save the world, Dennis. I had this like savior complex, and it was exhausting. I don't play that game anymore. Now, I love to create because I love to create. I do what I do because it's fun and because it's the most fun thing I can think of to do. And being a speaker and running events and teaching quantum hypnotherapy, I love it. I love doing sessions on people and hanging out with people just like you. And I call it putting the world to rights, just like really tuning in and figuring out, how do we fix this world? How do we upgrade ourselves? What is the thing? And yeah, it's going to be amazing container for anyone who comes and joins Dennis's program. So go, click the link, register. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. Let's make this the year that you step even more powerfully into your purpose. Shine your light brightly because it's fun and enjoyable and exciting and expansive. And you don't want to play small. No. You don't want to get to the end of your life, whenever that is, and look back and have regrets because you were too scared, when Dennis can just help you get over that in 30 minutes. So no excuses. Come play with us. We love playing with the masters. We love playing with the people on the path to ascension. Dennis, you're amazing. Thank you for being you.
Right back at you.
I'll see you tomorrow.